work there. Does that answer your
So
question?
technically, I can park on the sidewalk right across the street, and you won't
I mean,
do or
that's-
say anything?
That depends on the city ordinance, again, that's up to the cities.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, well, just a question. If we're gonna go into a revision here, you've given us a good explanation that parking is is the first and the biggest heartburn area or area for action. If you had to prioritize number 2, 3, and 4, what would those be?
Okay, junk on the driveways, things stacked alongside your houses. And,
Like trash, rubbish, old
Trash.
mattresses,
Old
dog
mattresses,
hair?
couches, just
Okay.
things like that, yes.
Okay. What would be 3 and 4?
3
I
and
don't mean
4.
to press you, but from a priority
Yeah.
standpoint, maybe we can simplify this and get something out quickly to help him and evolve it over time. Is that,
It's your body.
I'm just looking at people, how do we get it out quickly? I could see us debating this at nauseam, but maybe we get the things that he needs to do his job quickly.
Emergency ordinance.
Okay, let me think about that. What would be 3 and 4?
3 and 4, I would say, not really. I don't have a 3 and 4, actually.
That makes
Those are the
it
main
easy.
two, but
What
I
about,
can't send letters, I can't write citations, I can't do anything until you all pass this stuff.
So what else in the city do you see that is a problem that you need an ordinance for?
I think this mostly covers it.
what about broken down cars or cars that haven't moved in it
No, that's,
in a year and the grass is growing up,
yeah,
growing?
mostly that's the ones that got parked in the grass, broken down and things like that, so I included that in the parking in the grass.
And we haven't had any complaints as of lately about potbelly pigs or dogs barking, so he's gonna be working on all that, but those complaints hadn't came in, so.
I can get a good start with these.
Thank you, Walter. Sheriff Brad Maines, if you wanna come on up, give your report.
I just want to clean up what Todd asked there. You know, it could be considered a right-of-way issue. Now, we could tow a vehicle that was blocking the right-of-way. Use an example, if something's parked on the sidewalk or in a cul-de-sac right next to the roadway and the snowplow trucks are having trouble, we'd have that towed. So, you know, there is things we can do, but as far as a law, no, there's nothing to cover that, other than if it was a right-of-way issue. So I hope that cleans that up. Looking at the activity for Crittenden, month of November, there was 352 police responses. I've emailed this to Megan. I'm sure she'll email this out to you all for you to take a look at. If you have any questions, just let me know. On Wednesday, some of you may have heard about shots fired complaint over here in the Harlan Street area. It turned out to be a blank gun that was fired. We found all parties involved. Don't perceive any charges being filed at this point because it was a blank gun and there's sort of some uncooperative people. But no other lives were put in danger or anything that day, but there was a heavy police presence for some time up here. That kind of outlines that. And then also, I've had a few people ask me about neighborhood watch programs and if we would start one. I just want to kind of clear the air on how that works. That's not something we as the sheriff's office or Dry Ridge Police or Williamstown Police, that's not something they start. That's something that the neighborhood gets together. There's all kinds of material on the neighborhood watch program. And they have to put the group together, set up the meetings, and then law enforcement's just merely a liaison to help train them on what to look for, teach them how to be a good witness, and give them the tools to report things correctly to dispatch. So what I'm gonna do, if you all don't mind, I'm gonna leave this here for people at the city building. And Mayor and Megan, if anybody from any neighborhood comes in, just give them a copy of this material and it can tell them how to do it, and they can contact us if they wish to start one. And we'd be more than happy to be involved.
What would be the first, I know you have the information, but if we get people that want to do it, Mayor, could we use the city building to have a meeting for somebody to do
Sure.
something like that? Well, I'd be willing to help you all
Right.
and talk. I did it for a while, I know a little thing. If we can put the word out on somehow, somewhere that we would be having a meeting, and if we want to do certain subdivisions first, maybe.
Yep.
I don't think we
And-
can fit everybody in the
Well,
city here, but if we do,
You don't want every little street in the town meeting. This is a neighborhood watch. So for example, Fairway Drive, they would start one. Harvesters, they would start one. Oakwood, you all would start one. And it'd just be members of each neighborhood. You all wouldn't all meet together. Each neighborhood would have their own meeting dates, their own captains, as they call them, that kind of head things up. That's kind of how that works.
And you would come, or somebody from
We,
the
yes,
sheriff's
a
department would come and
liaison
meet with them.
generally would come and, you know,
Give
maybe not
information.
attend every meeting, but if they're needed or needing some sort of training on something, you know, or wanting some insight, we could always have somebody from the communications center, the 911 communications center come down. There's multiple avenues that you can go with this, but it takes the neighborhood being involved. You know, this isn't something that's gonna make your police presence any better. You know, I wish it could. I would be knocking on every neighbor's door and doing that, but it takes community involvement. People have to be willing to reach out and do things. So that's kind of what I have there. for
thank you,
anybody.
thank you.
No problem. Any other
Thank
questions?
you, Sheriff, y'all. A great job at the traffic issue.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is a different subject I want to approach, but have you heard about what First Love Church is doing with the warming shelter?
So yes, there is a homeless shelter being started at First Love.
A warming shelter.
Well, warming shelter, I don't know what they're calling it. There's a meeting
Thursday
Thursday
night.
night at 7 PM
You're going to have somebody
to,
there.
yes, to
Yeah,
kind of,
I talked with her today to give her some background and what's going on. I want to get Tim Holly there as well as the
And we
chairman.
have one of our council members serving with them, Paul Lowry, so that,
The, great. Yeah, they're going to need all the help they can get. But you guys are usually the first ones that find the folks that need referral.
correct.
So we're going to try to hook them up with Welcome House as well, so if it's more than one night, we can do some of that. So I'd be very interested in your observations Thursday.
How bad is the homeless in Grant County?
I mean, I've heard some numbers that are merely guesses. I've heard 30 and I've heard 50 or 60.
Are any of those veterans by chance?
I'm sure there are a few, but mostly what I've seen, no. It's younger generation, drugs, broken homes, you know, that type of thing.
If you ever come across veterans, I'd like to be contacted, please.
We can attempt that, yep.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Karen.
And also Constable Nighty, I believe, helped with some traffic also, so thank you for your help on that.
thank you.
Every little bit helps.
Yes, it will.
Anything else?
Mason Clint Elementary, Miss S. I know that kid.
Fire Department Chief Burton, she come up to the report.
I was kind of enjoying the reunion there.
That goes, do you feel young?
Good evening, folks. As you see, we've got the monthly breakdown of our responses. This past week was a booger. We had Friday night, Saturday, the structure fire out on Bowling Pin Road. That ended up being almost a 10-hour event. That was a mess. Then while that was going on, we also had an extrication accident on I-75. So we were pretty taxed in the northern part of the county. Also want to thank Walton, Verona, and Piner for coming in and assisting. The fire out on Bullock Pen was actually 8 departments at one time, just to get the personnel and equipment we needed. It was nasty. While Brian is here, I also want to send kudos to your deputies. There's been several runs this past month where we've had unconscious, unresponsive cardiac arrests that the officers have dove in, and man, we really appreciate it. Thank you. We are still business as usual, making calls. I can't think of anything that is big upcoming, unless you want to come to the Christmas party, December 21st, non-alcoholic event. Definitely non-alcoholic.
So the fire department's having like an employee party?
Yeah, we have just it's a dinner,
Okay,
and then we do a gift exchange, it's a game type of deal,
okay.
and a white elephant sale.
Is that at Crittenden?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's the same night we have the open house for.
Oh, no, we've already got that taken care
Okay.
of. The gentleman will have a bright, shiny sled.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to let you all know that we are into the first phase of our air pack replacement. Scary big price, but man, these are some really nice air packs. They are the latest. They are up to the new standard that the National Fire Protection Association has set for us. Everything is now high temperature, which equates to high dollars. But we've got 10, we're starting. We'll be able to start getting the rest of them in the next couple of years. Besides that, are there any questions or concerns that I can address for you?
It's sad to see that your opioid overdose rate went back up.
Well, the problem that we've got is that this is the dispatches that came across as opioid overdoses. There are actually several more that ended up being overdoses, but were called in as generalized sickness, unconscious, unknown reason, chest pain. Some persons don't want to tell the dispatcher that it's, we ended up, I would easily say, up to 14, 15 this past month that were heroin related. We're also getting some homemade fentanyl. I am researching that and I'm like, how in the devil do these people come up with this? But they're taking Xanax, they're taking Cymbalta, they're taking some other sedatives, and they're lacing it with fentanyl. Sir?
I wouldn't want you to give the ingredient list on something that's gonna go to YouTube.
Well, honey, I don't even know how in the hell they would get the ingredients, because that's some potent stuff. And those pills,
It's already on.
Yeah,
look, trust me, I'm not intelligent enough to go out here and do a biochemistry. And if it's on the internet, it's already been spread and known.
so going by this paper, it's 7 for opioid, you're saying more like 14?
I would easily say it was double that.
How would the rest of the previous months fall?
Reference to the prior cases, again, each month, it's based upon how the call comes in and how it's dispatched. If you remember that Senate Bill 118 that was passed in 2015 made it impossible to persecute someone in an overdose case involving heroin if it was announced to the dispatcher that it's an overdose. So when some people that are used to that understand it, will tell them it's a heroin case. However, some persons who are not familiar with that legislation will call it in as chest pain, general sickness. I don't know, I just found them unconscious. And we get there, and after evaluation and exam, find out that it is narcotic in origin. We're seeing the fentanyl, we're seeing the heroin. I've seen a couple of cases of carfentanil now, which is like 10 times the fentanyl. And the Narcan that we're carrying, I mean, it's eating it up.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a combined question of Lee and Brian? I kind of brought it up at our last meeting. I'm burning up the highway between here and Lexington due to some family issues every day. And I'm seeing accidents about a mile south on I-75 in an new area that they
The
paved.
163.
There's about a 500-foot section where cars are hydroplaning, going off the ditch and down in there. I've seen at least 3. I asked, are you guys seeing the same thing?
Yes.
Maybe we need to start making book on this to
It's
build
already-
a case
there's
for
already a
modification.
book on it. Yeah, when we do collision reports, their location is pegged on a map, so to speak, and all that is sent to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt will see that data. Now, there's gotta be a certain number before they'll address it. I don't know what the number is. There's probably gotta be some injuries in there, but, I mean, I can give you an example, the 156 southbound, we've never been able to get them to fix that, and I can't tell you how many hundreds of collisions I've worked myself there. But the data does get looked at, I can assure you that.
There are several spots on I-75, 161 to 162 northbound, and now we've added the 163 southbound that are reoccurring spots for accidents. I don't know what they did, because when you're out there standing on it, it seems pretty firm, it seems to be pretty smooth, but even on responses in the ambulances or fire trucks, when you hit that patch, it seems like, you know, you're doing some hydroplaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, this goes back to the opiates and heroin and all that. What does a block of Narcan cost?
When you're talking about a block of Narcan, you're talking about 10 doses.
Right,
That's $900.
Who pays for
$900.
that?
Who pays for that? Yeah.
We do. Occasionally, we will get, like, the Elizabeths gave us 10 doses of 0.4 milligram Narcan. However, our dosing requires 3 of those, up to 5 for an overdose. We've gotten it from the Elizabeths once, maybe twice. The rest is call your medical provider and say, I want to place an order, and write on the check. Our medical expenses in the last 5 years for Crittenden Fire Department alone, I don't wish to speak for anybody else, I'm just talking Crittenden Fire. We went from spending $3,500 a year on medical supplies to where last year alone was almost $12,000.
Because of the Narcan, basically?
Narcan, bag valve masks, airways, all the stuff that's needed to work, the unconscious, unresponsive.
Wow. Thank you, Lee.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Amy, you need to speak on, excuse me, Council Humphries, you need to speak on the fiber optic and internet.
Yeah, I just have had some citizens ask, and I've asked for this question, if we can find the question is from the citizens, that Cincinnati Bell is telling citizens that they can't provide them with fiber optic internet service because the city has an agreement with the internet provider, Time Warner, Spectrum, whatever it is, that we have an agreement with them that excludes Cincinnati Bell. So I'd like to get a copy of that agreement, if it's in fact there, or some kind of discussion going to see if we can get fiber optic internet service for our residents.
Now, I have it on Claiborne.
I have it in Harvester.
Yeah, we got it in Harvesters.
Yeah.
Well, some people are not getting it, so
We
we
did
can,
it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They came here.
I can answer part of that.
go ahead, okay, thank you.
I know, like the park, for example, it took an act
Right.
of Congress to get Cincinnati Bell to run the fiber optics over to get our camera systems up. And there's something about this main thoroughfare right here that
So you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
So it can be done, but we've got
Yeah,
to,
there's something, I don't know if it's a city agreement from the past or what,
Yeah.
but there's something about this main thoroughfare that the file isn't available right here. I don't know what the boundaries are or anything like that. It's weird.
Yeah, we'll have to make some phone calls on that and look for that. And,
I'm not sure if it's the right area.
yeah, that's mind-boggling to me also, so.
so we can, you all will look into that?
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Danny, you have a New Year's resolution?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like us, we talked about it before, and I don't know if, with all the stuff going on, if it got done or not. I'd like to see if, council can work on their New Year's resolution of working together and coming up with, I thought about this really good, come up with the ideas that we talked about, writing down on pieces of paper, ideas that each council person wanted to see possibly get worked on. With all the stuff going on in my life, I never turned mine in. So since the mayor's nice enough of not having a caucus meeting this month, you have homework. See if you work on your New Year's resolution that you can bring back, make copies of it, to pass out to everybody. And you all might be surprised that we might be on an agreement of a lot of things that we want to get done. Like, for example, the beautification committee. Debbie Steinhauser was here, and I gave her a piece of paper that Fortnite has, the Fortnite Garden Club, and I gave it to all council and mayor. It's what they use, they have a plant sale, the money that they use to buy other plants. They take care of planting and fixing the flower beds around the city that is owned by the city. So that's taking a big burden from money out of the city budget to take care of it. And it's actually pretty neat. And they have a Garden of the Club, month club, where if your house and your yard looks really, really nice, you get a sign put in your yard that you have a beautiful home and this and that. But if somebody could just look on the New Year's resolution, seeing what we can write down, what we want to see if we can do in 2019, there might be some things that all of us, or 3/4 of us, agree on too. And that's it. Let's do it. Let's quit talking about it. Make copies yourself and pass them out to everybody next January.
Thank you, Dan. We are going into the closed session at this time with a motion this evening. It is for litigation of the easement on property at Oakwood Drive for the Oakwood project and litigation on 208 North Main Street property there. I need a motion to approve to go into closed session
I'll make a motion.
and the majority vote.
Second.
Danny, did you make the motion?
I made it first.
I'll second it.
Todd? Okay, roll call. Danny?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Arlene?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes, but we didn't talk about the city ordinance book. Are we gonna come back to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Joe?
Yeah.
Paula?
Yep.
You don't have to go home, but you gotta leave. Sorry. And we'll come back in session and let you know, okay?